When Catherine Unetic was a little girl growing up in San Diego, she spent a lot of time crying, especially when she was in school.
There's this one art project in the first grade that I still remember where I broke down crying. We had to tear pieces of paper to make penguins, and I couldn't get the shapes to be like uniformed, and I hated it.
What she calls her crying fits continued, and she was prescribed medication for depression while still a child. Now an adult, she became a mom about a year ago. She says her postpartum depression was practically unbearable. She remembers get-togethers with other moms who'd given birth at about the same time.
And so they would be saying all these like things they were doing with their kids, and I was like, I can barely get up and out of bed to do anything with them, to do anything with him. And I thought I was failing at it. I thought I was failing as a wife because I couldn't really interact with my husband without snapping or just saying, I'm exhausted, I want to go to sleep.
For people like Catherine, there's hope in something called TMS, which stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's one of a handful of treatments for patients who can't find relief in pills and counseling. UCSD professor Corey Weissman says in TMS they apply what he calls a coil to a person's scalp. It creates a magnetic field that enters the brain, stimulating neurons. Treatment takes place at a clinic, sometimes over the course of several weeks. Weissman says they aren't quite sure why it works, but they know that it does. The treatment's response rate, where there's at least a 50% improvement, is seen in up to 60% of patients.
So most people get somewhat better. And then about a third of people get what we call remission, which is all the way better. So full resolution of their depression.
Unetic says wearing the coil was kind of like wearing a helmet.
It produces like little shock waves.
Can you feel them on your scalp? I mean, when it's working?
Oh yeah, you can feel it and you can hear it. So they'll give you headphones because some people don't like the sound. You can still hear it, it's just a little bit more muffled. But it's like a little zit, zit, zit.
TMS doesn't work for everyone, but it worked for Unetic.
So the first couple of days, I had like an intense amount of energy. But like it was just amazing just to feel happy and like elevated in mood. It was just amazing. I've never felt like that before.
TMS is one example of interventional brain medicine, fast-acting treatments for people who are treatment-resistant. Another example for severe depression is what used to be called shock therapy, now called electroconvulsive therapy. It's been around for about 80 years, and it remains in use because it can be very effective. Weissman says UC San Diego is doing research to learn why stimulating some neural networks in the brain helps people with depression.
There's a lot of imaging studies, and we're doing a number of these studies at UCSD trying to tease apart how individuals' brains at baseline are different than those who don't have depression or other conditions, and how the TMS changes how their brains are functioning afterwards.
UCSD is also involved in clinical trials to find out if TMS can help cure bipolar disorder or anorexia. Lincoln Fish is the CEO of a company called Neurabello that provides interventional medicine like TMS. He says one of his success stories came from treating a retired Marine colonel named Ben who suffered depression and PTSD. Fish says treating Ben's depression made him a different person.
He all of a sudden, and this is from a military guy, has trouble swearing. He said he didn't realize it, but he's so used to, dropping F-bombs and things because he's a military guy and all that. And he said all of a sudden he'd start to, and then he just couldn't do it. And he said something different.
For Catherine Unetic, treating her depression has allowed her to enjoy her 1-year-old boy as he plays games and learns to take a few steps.
He's super cute. He smiles a lot, and he's always laughing. I adore him.
For all its advantages, TMS is not cheap. Unetic says she couldn't have done it if her insurance had not covered it. But, Weissman says, if you look at a cost-benefit analysis, it can be a lot cheaper than lingering in a depressed, disabled state for years or even decades. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.